Okay, Silver Electronics fan, and right now sitting on my bench is a Technics Quartz Direct Drive Automatic Turntable System SLQ 300. I just got this, like I said, from a tag sale. I tried this on my I guess that's aged, and it's going to stay right where it is. I tried this on my, it seems, oh there it is, okay. I tried this on my Harman Kardon, and that was humming very badly, and I couldn't even play anything with this. But, as you can hear, this is humming pretty badly too. See, do I have, I'll put something on here. Oh, there is, on this, this pad has cutouts in it, and it's supposed to line up with that. And I think that's how it discovers what size record is on the platter. I'm guessing that's how that works. So if you don't have this in the right place, then it's going to want to put the tone in the wrong place. Alright, this should do. And let's see if how this works. Well, that seems to work, but, well, actually let's do this. Let's see if it will shut down. Okay. Oh. I'm just noticing on there's a little label right here. It says, precisely adjusted by the factory, tracking force, anti-skating, adjusted. And they have an arrow pointing to a little above 1.25, looks like. Oh, let's check this out. Okay, so we're getting a lot of hum. Let's try a different cable. This doesn't matter, leave that there. Let's try a different cable, just to see. I've gotten caught up. I've been caught by bad cables before, so let's check that out. Well, it wasn't that the cable was on there loosely, I can tell you that right now. Okay. Oh, okay. It looks like there is a spot where you could plug in. Oh, that's not great. Where you can plug in a wire and then ground it to your amplifier. Alright. Okay. Let's I don't have any way to, I'm going to get this record off so I don't do it harm. And clip that down. I don't think I have on the back of that stereo a grounding point for turntable. I don't know if you can see, but it looks like Looks like there's a spot, there's a hole, looks like there's a clip that could go, a little metal pin that could go in there, and then you ground this to the chassis of the stereo that you're connected to. And go out, AC in, yes. But that cable is long since gone. So if I want one, I'm going to have to make one. And okay, I found a nail that I could stick in there. It was just the right size. I plugged, so I grabbed a jumper wire, and so right now you're not going to cooperate, are you? Well, that does make a difference. So that could mean there's nothing really wrong with this. Yeah. Alright, so if I were to put that up at that volume on the stereo, it would be nice and loud. And I think the answer to this is it needs a ground wire. And so interesting. I have a. I may have to dig into this a little bit more. I have an Akai turntable that was making humming noises, and it actually had a problem. It was not happy. Okay, so so you can see where the nail is sticking out of the back of this. There's a connector there that provides ground to the chassis of this. I wonder. I doubt this is going to work, but if it does, then I can do something trickier. So what I'm doing is I'm putting a clip on the ground on the shield of that, and it doesn't matter which side, or it shouldn't. Of course you're going to do that. I knew you were going to do that. Aha. Okay. Alright. So if this is grounded to this, it's quiet. I am very quiet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this apart, and I'm going to make an internal ground connection between that ground and this. I'm sure there's a reason why they set it up the way it did, and I could make a ground cable. Like I said, some of my stereos don't have a place. See, my realistic does. I don't think that one does. Does it? Oh, this is going to be fun. Actually, do it the easy way. Let's see if I can tell if there's a ground. I'm using a mirror to see if I have a ground for the turntable. This is also new to me. I haven't. Okay, phono. There it is. And yeah, kind of what I thought. So a newer, this is a newer, still vintage because it's got a phono input, but even if I made, and I could easily enough, I could cut the end off from this, solder a wire onto it. On a lot of stereos, the other end is just a strip wire that's been soldered and tinned, and that you just wrap around the ground plug on the back of the stereo. So, but this, yeah, this doesn't have, but this stereo does not have a ground. So there's no way to ground this turntable, which needs it apparently. Let's see, get out of here. That's locked down. That's all off. Let's see. That seems nice and free, which is a good thing because it looks like there's screws that are holding the platter onto dusty in there, really dusty. Alright, so needs cleaning. So I just bought this. This is the first time I've even tried to use it. Okay, let's phono out. So all the red screws are screws that you can remove. So let's remove them and see what we got under here. The nice things about a direct drive turntable is that the problem of failing belts never happens. Because they don't have any belts to fail. Kind of nice. Alright. Okay. Alright, so theoretically then, I should be able to separate this. Oh, there it is. Okay. We get our first look inside together here. Okay, so there's the motor hiding behind there. You've got the controls for the speed. This little switch on this board for 45 and 33. It's just kind of a gimmick. But on the front of this, there's a strobe light that hits the base of this. And as it's spinning, you can see that this thing is staying exactly on speed. A lot of the automatic turntables don't have that. Like I said, this is kind of a gimmick. I guess it's just to show you that this is indeed quartz locked, and you don't need to adjust it, and it's showing you that it's already in adjustment. So, whatever technique. So I'm guessing that these two chips probably have something to do with the speed control. I'm guessing that. So then let's go back to, yes, okay. Can I, yes, alright, let's try this. Okay. Okay. Ew, come out of there. And let's see. I've been caught too many times trying to remove things that don't want to be removed. So I'm trying to be careful and I'm trying to be gentle. Ah, okay. All right. Let's get up here and I'll show you what's going on. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. Oh, all right. So, that's the socket that takes the ground wire right there. And it's grounded to this. And then, looks like there's a ground that goes over here and goes up to the tone arm. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run a wire from this connection here, which is this little ground connection, over to, doesn't seem to matter, one or the other of these grounds. And we'll see if that solves my humming problem. Alright, and I've turned my soldering iron off. Rats. Okay. Yeah, I just happen to have a little bitty wire. Alright, let me zoom out a little bit. Just happen to have a little ground wire, or wire I can use for a ground, and we'll just do that and see how that behaves. I'm sure it will be fine. Should be. And so by doing this, I don't really think, I'm a little bit puzzled as to why, if somebody knows why, they have a separate ground wire. It'd be kind of nice to know. But, yeah, so when I ran into trouble with my Akai, what I finally figured out is it had a metal plate inside. Go back and watch that video. And there was a screw that went from the top down into that plate. That was part of what was securing that plate in place. But at the same time, that screw was linking together, I think, another piece of metal, and that was a ground point for the motor board. And moisture had gotten in there, and I could see when I looked at it afterward that the threads around that screw looked like they were rusted. And so the ground had failed, and that was where my hum was coming from. Now, what's really interesting with this one is that this, based on what I'm just hearing now, this is quieter when I ground this to this than the other one was after I fixed it. Now, of course, that amplifier is different than this one. This one's 50 watts per channel, that one's 65. And when I crank mine up to halfway, yeah, you don't want to, there aren't too many things you want to play through that at that half volume. It's way too loud. But at half volume with that, it's starting to hum a little bit with the TX, or the Akai rather. And at first I thought I was going to have to dig deeper, but ultimately I decided that the hum was low enough that it wasn't objectionable, if I could talk. And and the volume at which you heard the hum was so high you weren't gonna spend much time there. So all right, so do this. I think I'm gonna put more solder on this than I have right now. Probably don't need it, but we're going to do it anyway. Alright. Fresh solder doesn't hurt. And it solders really quick when you do that. Alright, well, let's do the other one. Other end. I didn't think to do that while I had it there. Oof. Well, anywho, we'll get it. Alright. Now, if I can do this without burning my fingers, that would be good. There we are. Now, let's see, so next I need to go there and there. Okay, I don't need that anymore. Hopefully I don't need that anymore, but we'll leave it on for now, just to save time if I do need it. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm showing my confidence by buttoning this in, well, I actually have to. This little thing here grounds this plate, which then grounds this. And this, of course, is where the motor is mounted. So that's part of the reason why this needs to be grounded, because you can get noise from the motor, as we found out on the Akai. Alright, so, no, I don't want you there. I don't want you pounding on my needle. Alright, so I'm going to plug this in. There's my cord. There it is. No, I didn't have a cord plugged in last time. Guess we'll find out if that mattered or not. Okay. Alright, okay, of course you can do that. That's kind of what I thought. It wasn't going to like it if I had it sitting and running. Next, plug this in. Oh, no. No, I don't want you doing that. Thank you. I hit something underneath and it didn't like it. Okay. Just a tiny little bit of foam. Very quiet. And if you're cranking that, alright. I'm all the way over here. I guarantee you don't want that all the way over there if you're listening to anything. at half volume, it's very, very little, and I think that solves that noise, that hum problem with this turntable. There really isn't anything I can lubricate on this. I'll have to look underneath to see what the grease looks like. But I think that, yeah, you turn it down a little bit, you can barely hear it. I do believe that's the cure. Hello. Thank you. Alright. So I'm going to lock this in, which I forgot to do last time. And I'm going to look at the, make sure. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah. I'll be very careful not to break anything. You don't have much. You got that little plastic arm. So I gotta be careful not to put a lot of weight on this. Like maybe I should let's put 2 into that. I really don't like putting that much weight on that arm. So we're gonna do this. Oh, okay. Alright, now that grease looks good, actually. Yeah, a little bit gummy. Yeah, maybe I want to let's and most of it seems pretty good, but there are places that don't look as good as they might. I'm very reluctant to put any real degreaser on this because this is plastic, and while it's probably designed because it does have grease on it, it's probably designed to handle that, but it makes me a little bit nervous. So I'll just use a little bit of this. I don't want that rag. Not that one. Let's see here. I have something in here. Alright, that'll work. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the grease isn't terrible. It's definitely showing signs of age, though. So if I can update it, so now I have some nice synthetic grease that will work beautifully on stuff like this. Something I just found. I've been trying to find a grease that would be light enough to work on stuff while at the same time being heavy enough to give it proper lubrication. Because I really didn't want something that was too thin. But some of the one of the greases that I tried, what was that? This stuff, Tri-Flow. It's a good grease, but I think it's designed for heavier applications. And some of the things I tried that on didn't work well because it was it had too much resistance. This is Super Lube, it's multi-purpose synthetic grease, and this is called heavy duty food grade clean dielectric. It's got a number of capabilities, and it has a decent amount of, I guess the only word I can think of is body to it, but it's thin enough that it won't interfere with the operation of things that don't have a lot of torque, for instance. Uh-oh, well, I know what that's going to do. Yeah, I know. Okay. Yeah, so that was a nice find. I actually bought that for something else. But when I found out what it was, I appropriated it for use in here. And I didn't need it where I didn't need it for the application I bought it for, because I discovered that I had a grease that worked just fine for that. This is going to be fun. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I know this is probably not exciting because you're not really able to see much. All I'm doing right now is I'm trying to get in there to all the places that have been greased, and then try to get the old grease away, removed, and then make sure. That's interesting. Oh. Okay. So, let me just tilt this up a little bit, see what I've been doing. So all I've done is all of these sliding points. There's one there. So all of these points that are sliding, I tried to clean them up as much as I could. And I'm going to try to get new grease, that new grease, in here. I'm going to make sure it's working okay. And I'm not sure if this turntable seems to do everything very slowly and very deliberately. I don't know if that's how it normally behaves. With fresh grease, I'll probably find out. So I don't want you. All right. So, yeah, this will tell me whether or not I really had a problem or not. Because once I start testing the mechanism, I will know. All right. Let's see. Got you. Got that. I got a couple of spots down here that need a little attention. A little grease there. Let's see. Yeah. I really didn't see anything that was sticking, per se. Oh, there's a spot I missed. But this is brand new to me. I don't know how it's supposed to behave normally. So but what I could see was that the grease was definitely looking like it had aged. So let's see. Can we? I'm going to put that, cue that up, put the arm free, and Oh, okay. I know what that noise is. Okay. Alright. Let's see if we can get this on the blocks in this direction. Okay, so what was making noise, I think, is these levers. Yep, that's what it is. See this little arm come up? It's checking to see. So this arm is, if this arm is being held down, that one pops up. If this one is not being held down, then this one takes control. Alright, well that explains my noisemaker. Okay, that looks good. The turntable seems to move freely enough. There's a little bit of corrosion on the aluminum here. But I do have something that might help that a little bit. I'll have to look and see if that polish will work on this. Of course. Yeah. Should probably use my other cleaners. That might do better. This. Well, while I'm doing this, might as well just do a quick clean. Yeah, definitely dirty. Yes, it's filthy. Let's see. Yep, very dirty. So it's a combination of corrosion and dirt. So the next thing I then want to do is, this is for aluminum. Yes, it is. Well, if I get in there and really scrub on it, it seems to help. Well, I'm not going to show you me cleaning the entire rim. That would be boring. So anyway, yeah, so basically all I really need to do with this now is, other than try to improve the looks of this, which it looks like I can somewhat. You can't really see it, but there's corrosion on the face of this and on top of this. And I kind of wish I could just pull this off, but those 3 screws tell me that's not an option. So I guess I'm going to have to work my way around, clean up as I go. Yeah, that definitely does improve it. Yes, it does. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to polish this up with that polishing compound, clean it. I do have to see if I can save this crack. The guy did say, when I mentioned that, he said, yeah, I put something heavy on it and it cracked. So, boy, alright. So I'm going to try, especially in the middle here, where I can get it to flex, I'm going to try to put epoxy on there to strengthen it a little bit. The crack goes all the way over to the corner. And then it needs a serious cleaning. So I think the guy told me he bought this because he thought he would use it more, but he was moving around a lot, and he finally got tired of moving the record collection he had around. So he gave it to, I think, his kids, and they got tired of moving it around. So I guess my grandkid wound up with it. So he sold this for very little, and it looks like it doesn't need much. And yeah, that's got bent. Oh, ew. Well, so much for that. Record coming up. Yes. I think it's ready. Well, let's see. Yeah, that needle is shot. Oh. Well, the cartridge works, the needle doesn't. So I can order one of those. I think basically it's cleaning and a new needle, and then we're good to go. I probably shouldn't have tinkered with that needle, but sooner or later I think that was going to be an issue because it was bent. I'm really not sure why it was working, but anyway. So simple little trick to get around the fact that your stereo doesn't have a ground for the phono. So that one doesn't. So yeah, it's definitely a little puzzling to me. And like I said, if somebody happens to know why this is separate ground, and I've used turntables for years, and I've used that separate ground because the turntables and the amps both had ground connections for turntables. Or the turntable had a ground and the stereo had a place for the ground. So I usually just automatically would use that. When I fixed my Akai, I discovered that I didn't need to ground that separate ground wire. I didn't need it anymore after I did that. So got me a little bit puzzled, but as far as I can see, there's no reason for me to not do what I just did. And it also seems that by grounding that directly to the ground shell of the cable, that I get a better result. At least I did on that. I get less hum than I did when I was running a connection from that little, using my nail and jumper onto the chassis of the stereo. It helped, definitely did help doing that, but doing this seems to make it even better. So I don't know. But if you run into something like this, and you discover that it's got a spot where a ground wire could go, it's not too hard. Usually these are fairly easy to take apart, and then you can do the little trick that I pulled on it. Just ground it over to the ground connection for the phono cable, and that solves it. I can't see any reason not to do that. As far as I can see, that's the right thing to do. especially given that not everything has grounds anymore. Oh, and yes, I've got to remember that. Yeah, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that. Interesting setup. And it seems to be working quite nicely. Oh, that's clever. I didn't know it would do that. Notice what it just did. I hit the start button, the arm came up. Heard these things clicking away, the arm comes back down. So this mechanism is smart because if it doesn't detect something holding down one of these two, it then determines that there are no records on this. There's no point in putting the tone arm over there. Keep it parked. Very clever design. Technics is a pretty good brand. I've had Technics cassette decks that work really well. Nice unit. Anyway, thanks for watching, and there might be a part 2.